Effective advising empowers every student to make informed decisions about their education and career pathway. In Texas, college, career, and military readiness isn't a single milestone. It's the outcome of coordinated advising systems that help students explore interests, set goals, and navigate the complex steps from high school to their next opportunity. Behind every strong advising program are the educators, counselors, and leaders working together to make that support possible.
Advising is critical. It is a foundational layer of the work of any post-secondary opportunities at our high schools and our middle schools.
Schools and districts across Texas can prioritize 5 enabling conditions to make high-quality advising sustainable and equitable. Number 1, communicate a clear post-secondary vision and plan. Number 2, deploy strategic resourcing and funding. Number 3, invest in advising systems and team capacity. Number 4, maintain post-secondary and community partnerships. Number 5, prioritize data systems and continuous improvement. Strong advising begins with a clear vision. District and campus teams set ambitious post-secondary goals, align them with CCMR priorities, and make student transitions a shared responsibility across the system.
In 2021, I became the chief officer for School of Proven Innovation. First thing I realized was that we did not have a CCMR department. We had an advanced academics department, but there was no one paying attention to what exactly is happening, the layers of support for our students to get them ready for college and career readiness. So with the support of my superintendent, we created and developed the Office of College, Career, and Military Readiness. We started out with one person, Mr. Brian Davis, who is currently our director for advanced academics, and he had been a counselor at the high school. That was a strength. He had worked in advanced academics as well, but he brought the strength of a counselor and advising role, which was huge and is an integral part of CCMR.
So about a year and a half ago, our new superintendent initiated the development of the district's first strategic plan. This is the first Alief ISD strategic plan. So we collaborated with an external partner to gather data from a variety of stakeholders. From May to June, the district undertook a comprehensive stakeholder engagement effort. Through interviews, focus groups, we engaged with many stakeholders, internal and external, learning more about key issues and refining our strategic priorities. This has led to the development of our strategic plan. And in that plan, we have several metrics around post-secondary. So our big pillars are student achievement, world-class employment, safe and secure Alief, Alief family, and organizational strength. Under student achievement, post-secondary is front and center. We have several annual metrics and 5-year metrics that really look at, first, expanding the offerings, increasing the percentage of students participating in post-secondary courses, increasing overall performance and rate of college, career, and military readiness, and of course, putting systems at the campuses to ensure that we are creating the environment for all of these goals to be accomplished.
Vision alone isn't enough. Teams translate commitments into strategy, aligning budgets, staffing, and partnerships to ensure every campus has the people and tools needed for effective advising.
We monitor the outcomes bonus allotment and we track that, so we're aware of likely what we'll receive before the state reports it. And I essentially have like a wish list of items that, and we organize them and prioritize them. So we know that, okay, if this occurs, then this is absolutely what we need to fund, right? In the next cycle, if we get more by this time, this is a nice thing, right, to fund in the next cycle. And so it's been beneficial in that it does allow us to expand the work that we have. I think also we're internally trying to just work through the timing of receipt of that fund and better understand how we can just continuously understand how we can continue to invest in practices that have been the most substantial to our overall progress.
So the biggest thing that we have been able to do with our outcome bonus money is we've been able to secure that individual, that college and career counselor. Initially, when we hired her, we one of our organizations helped us acquire that person. It was Root Ed Alliance that funded that counselor for the first 2 or 3 years at 75%. We only paid 25%. But because of the outcome bonus, we've been able to now take over and pay her that salary with no issue. And it's been a game changer for us. Not every school has a dedicated college and career counselor, but we do. And so that has been super helpful to us.
Advising quality depends on capacity. Educators and counselors need clear structures, time, and professional learning to provide consistent, data-informed advising throughout middle and high school.
For our high school counselors have a number of things that they're talking with students about. And depending on the grade level, there are certain items that are higher priority than other items, right? So for example, if we're talking about college, your earlier grade levels in 9th and 10th might just be, talking about ideas, versus your senior year, it's really about application. If college is the plan for you, that might be that is the opportunity where our counselor might lean in a little bit more to clarify what's happening with that area if they see a student needs more support in that space.
We also have a college and career counselor that is fabulous. And she helps connect our kids to post-secondary ed, to college, jobs. She teaches financial literacy. She makes sure kids have their FAFSA filled out. She makes sure they know how to do that college application. She makes sure they know how to do that resume. And if they need help with that, she assists them. So I think that has been also a very critical piece of our students being successful, is that they have a go-to person that focuses and specializes specifically in that area.
The next thing is the investment into our college advisors. And so we did put a lot of money in our college and career advising program, and they have a very small ratio. So it's 1 to 200 for 11th and 12th, and 1 to 400 with 9th and 10th. And so there's a whole thing that college advisors are required to do, and one of those is TSI preparation. We also set up strategic opportunities for students to get support outside of school. So here's the support inside of campus, but here are opportunities for you if you want to advance, you want to remediate or accelerate outside of these high school doors. And so we have boot camps throughout the district where they can have those opportunities.
So in addition to obviously the meetings with counselors to plan courses, we have events to raise awareness and access. Specifically things like Navigate Your Future Night, which is a district-wide event for rising 9th grade students, in which we talk about CTE pathways and the connections of those pathways to advanced academics and to course selection. We have something called Paving the Pathway for Postsecondary Success for students already in high school, where we hammer home again the importance of getting college credit while you're in high school, and having an IBC along with breakout sessions to fill out FAFSA for current seniors, for college application for current juniors and seniors. So we have events like that, as well as Cow Day, which is Careers on Wheels, which is where we bring all 8th graders over to our Performing Arts Center, and they get to engage with students currently in CTE pathways and do cool things like fly a simulator or make a floral design or something like that. They also get to talk to industry representatives. So in the parking lot, you're going to have the Kyle Fire Department, because our kids graduate from Fire Academy and go to work there. And so you've got some actual industry partners as well.
Schools can't do it alone. Strong partnerships with higher education, industry, and community organizations expand the opportunities students can see and seize.
Our elementary school, which is Gloria Hicks Elementary School, will have a club after school that is on medicine, medical careers, medical, not that but this is going to be very specific because it will align to our middle school, which is Cunningham Middle School at South Park. That will be the Baylor College of Medicine STEM pathway at Cunningham Middle School at South Park in unison with Baylor. And so our teachers have gone for our first cohort of students in 6th grade that are in 6th grade right now of that academy. Our teachers have gone and received all the training from Baylor. It is one of our regular science courses that they take. So it's TEKS aligned, but it is driven by neuroscience. So it's a neuroscience pathway. Kids will go from this course in 6th grade to their 7th grade math course, as we get another group that will come on in 6th grade to their 8th grade principles course for the health science academy that's at Moody High School, where they feed into. And the rising seniors, the summer of their junior to crossing to senior year, those students who, a few of them already go, but it's going to be a larger number now, will go spend a week at Baylor College of Medicine, shadowing residents, shadowing into surgeries, suture camp, resume building camp, college application camps, all that type of thing of spending a week at Baylor.
For us, P-TECH was a lot of strategic planning. We had to look at the landscape of our course offerings, and what we knew is that we offered a lot of dual enrollment courses, but those courses were not aligned so that the students could achieve an associate's degree, right? So we had to partner with institutes of higher education to develop crosswalks, and mind you, crosswalks that work for a small school district, right? When we began P-TECH, there were not any other small schools that we knew of that were implementing P-TECH. So we had to work strategically with our IHEs to figure out how can we work this so that our students can achieve this goal, and so that do we have the appropriate staff so that we can offer the courses that we need on campus? Can you send us professors to our campus so that we can educate our students in our school building? Do we need to send them to you? How do we make this work? So that took a lot of haggling, right, back and forth. And we've changed it a couple of times, but we're finally at a place where we feel like we've got it, right?
Data turns advising into action. Educators, counselors, and administrators use real-time data to guide supports, track progress, and celebrate success with students and families.
Well, we're a Lone Star governance district, which means that our board is trained in Lone Star governance, and every single one of our board goals has to include measures that relate to, under House Bill 3 was, reading and math at 3rd grade level. But more importantly within that was the post-secondary. And we focus on CCMR, dual credit, CTE, all of those measures. So we have board goals that we set based on the increments of where we started, how far we believe our students should be. That's one thing we always track. But internally, we track it here locally. Our group updates it every 6 weeks. It is sent out to principals, and our CCMR department specialist meets with the principal at each high school, and with the counselors to go through every single student. These are your students who have not met a CCMR report. These are your students who have met that and more, and may even be eligible to seek an additional complement to the work that they're doing that'll even expand their CCMR.
A few years back, we decided to build out our own system. So we a lot of people are in Google land. We have the Google spreadsheets and your Google tracking, and it was a favorite safe space to be several years ago. And so we took those spreadsheets and we built out our own little internal dashboard to try to track where we were with CCMR. So TSI, dual credit, IBCs, we're tracking all these things, but it took a lot of effort. And so it's definitely a diffusion of effort because we had so many people that had hands in it. Okay, we're tracking FAFSA, TAFSA, we're tracking this. But that began the process for being able to sit with all of the different departments and discuss and figure out strategies, because every time we had a system of log in here, look here, here's the data. And so with that data system, we were able to have more productive conversation.
What we do with data is at the beginning of the year, or really in the summer before the school year starts, we set goals. And some of our goals are really driven by our board goal. If our board goal is associated with that area, that is the goal for that year. Although we always aim for higher than our board goal. And after we set goals, we also establish kind of data points that are benchmarks to let us know if we are tracking towards progress. From there, what we do is we also establish opportunities for conversations to pivot when we need to pivot based on whatever that time frame is for that benchmark to happen. So if we're at or approaching a benchmark date and we're falling behind, we know that the conversation then needs to be, how do we pivot to, kind of get back on track, right? And accelerate our outcomes for that area. So we use data in that regard to help us know how we're tracking, but the only way that we're able to better understand what progress we're making is if we're really thoughtful about thinking about smaller wins that we can look at to know if we're making progress along the way.
What did we just cover? We walked through the essentials of strong post-secondary outcomes: crafting a clear vision, aligning resources, strengthening advising, building partnerships, and using data for continuous improvement. Effective advising doesn't happen by chance. It's built by districts, campuses, and educators who invest in the structures, partnerships, and people that guide every Texas student toward a future that fits.